Week in Review, broadcasting live on the Really American Media platform. It's been another wild boar of a week. Oink, oink. The political dumpster's ablaze, but let's put out this shit show and reload your brain with the facts you actually need. All right, you little bastards. It's 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready. Come on, you feline. Start scratching the post. Holy moly. Take it away, gentlemen.
And away we go. Welcome one, welcome all to the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. We are back at it. Another look at your political week in review, and you're just on time.
Yeah. Happy Friday, everybody. Survived another week. Hey, go to thevocalminority.net. That is our website.
Yeah.
What was it? Vocalminority.net. If you want to message us directly, as a lot of you have been taking full advantage of, so feel free to do that. We reply to 90% of you.
We do?
I do. I don't know about you, but yes, I do.
So glad you do. I don't have any control over it, so they come straight to Steve. So if we don't reply, just keep that in mind.
Right.
It's all Steve's fault.
Fair enough.
Yeah, another wild week in the political arena here, and yeah, thank God it's Friday. We could all use a little break here, but let's finish this week off strong, for crying out loud, and get vocal. You've come to the right place for that.
Yeah. I see you're advertising one of our old radio stations. Can you Google Nick Reynolds, Steve Harness, KBSG? Does anything come up?
I don't know. The radio station's been off the air for a while, but I'm sure you could. I'm sure you can find some things on there, but yeah.
That just shows we're legit people, okay? Not
right.
anyone just has those sweatshirts. Only cool radio DJs that were on air there.
Yeah, these have become a vintage item, dude, that are selling on eBay, and, you can find these in other places. But yeah, that's the old sweatshirt.
And the funny thing is, that's where Nick and I met, at an oldies station in Seattle. And we were both like 22-year-old DJs. Everyone else was in their 40s, 50s, or 60s. And Nick and I, two young snots working at the oldie station in Seattle. And that's where it all began.
Doing it right, dude. We brought some youth to that place, for crying out loud.
That's right. And then on to talk radio, and now taking over the podcast world. So
that's right.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. Really American podcast earlier today. Chip and Corinne, I think, were the two hosts that are doing that podcast. Yeah, that is the other podcast on this channel. So support them as you support us. We're trying to build this platform up here with not only all these compelling 8-minute videos that you guys are all supporting, and we appreciate that, but trying to launch this whole podcast thing, this long form thing. So
yeah, no, subscribe to all that, and do Nick and I a favor. Go to your favorite podcast site, whether it's Spotify or whatever, and find the show on there and subscribe. Even if you don't want to listen, just go hit subscribe, okay? Is that asking too much?
Come on, take 20 seconds out of your day, for crying out loud. We're about to whip some news on you. This is your political weekend review, and get ready for it, because here it comes.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know. Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
First of all, let's start off with breaking news just coming into my official orange iPhone.
Oh, okay. What do we got?
You see how I got things going on here? My phone and my coffee mug match.
That looks purple to me.
Does it really?
No, that's
Let's
just
not
a
start
joke,
this colorblind shit again.
That's just a joke.
We had a debate on St. Patrick's Day and what green was. But yeah, so breaking news, New York Times. Judge rules Pentagon restrictions on the press are unconstitutional. This is this whole thing where the Pentagon tried to limit who could be in the press room.
Yes.
So,
which is complete bullshit. So
yeah, I mean, a free press, I'm sorry, means that pretty much everyone gets to come in. I mean, you can limit just based on the number of people, but you can't have like criteria for what press you do and don't want in there, including the Pentagon's own newspaper. They did not allow into the press briefing this week, their own publication. That's very bizarre.
absolutely nuts, dude. I was reading a story, or I was watching something, I can't remember, but it was talking about the fact that one day this will all be gone. Like, this will all be a distant memory. And we talk about the lasting repercussions of MAGA and the Trump world and have fantasies and delusions about one day this all being gone. But one of the things that it said will all be gone is the press that covers the president and his cabinet or her cabinet will no longer just be these weird conspiracy theory podcasters. Like, I don't want to give any credence to like Nick Shirley, but like, yeah, Nick Shirley's a douchebag, and he was just invited into the Oval Office and has been several times to kind of spread all this conspiratorial bullshit.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, well, I mean, some podcasters should be allowed in there because a lot of podcasters are giving real news,
Well, I mean, that's the shift, as we've talked about before, from old media to new media. And so, yeah, I mean, podcasters are becoming a very, very mainstream sort of thing, which is why we always get on like Joe Rogan and whatnot that are like, oh, the media, dude, you are the media. So just pipe the fuck down. But yeah, it just depends what kind of podcasters. And in the last election, podcasters became a bigger thing. And I've spoken to Justin, the man in charge here at Really American, and I was like, dude, I want to be at the DNC in 2028. I think some of these hosts, we should be there.
Yeah.
He made me a pinky swear that we would be there, so we shall see. But yeah, it's all becoming more mainstream. So
hold him to it. It also comes with more responsibility, right?
Yes, great power, great responsibility.
So
someone said that. I don't know who, but anyways. So yeah, a federal judge tossed parts of the Pentagon's restrictions on news outlets, saying it violated the old First Amendment from the party that claims to love the Constitution so much.
Yes, only the parts that they like, though, Steve. Remember that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and speaking of the powers that be, we do not have any superheroes running this place. This feels to me like a time where the Avengers would actually swoop in and take down our government instead of working with them.
Yeah, that they would step in and be the adult in the room.
Yeah, I mean, this is like in Superman when Lex Luthor became president and was a corrupt, terrible that was a fantasized comic book storyline years ago that has now literally become true, where some evil, corrupt millionaire/billionaire managed to scam his way into the White House and into power. But there's no Superman, but you got Nick and Steve here to spread the gospel. So
we're doing our best. You've got your Clark Kent glasses on, so let's whip into this and start exposing some of these villains that are running our country.
Right. No superheroes, super zeros. Get this thing. Sometimes these news headlines, I'm just like, what fucking timeline are we living in? Speaking of the superhero world, like there must be a parallel alternate universe somewhere where we have like Kamala Harris running the country and things are just mellow and benign, but that's not the world we're living in. So headline, FEMA disaster chief. This is the guy, one of the heads up at FEMA. He claims that he is able to teleport. Again, that sounds like a superpower, but
yeah, you're right. I suppose it does. But I mean, come on, dude. How are we sitting through these conspiracy theories and this just bullshit? I mean, this guy's crazy. His name is Greg Phillips. He's crazy all the way around. And whether you trust the government in any arena at all, this is the part that is supposed to swoop in our worst days and say, right, we got you. It's going to be okay. We'll give you shelter. We'll give you food. We'll at least make sure that you're okay.
Right. And we have heard about Kristi Noem that she made some rule where she had to sign off personally on any money going through FEMA for any disaster relief, any contract renewals. I've got a story about tornado chasers that, were going out there to track a tornado, but they realized the contract that had the software that helps us track tornadoes was not renewed. It's just sitting on Kristi Noem's desk going back to like February. So they're out there flying blind, basically. And
like a movie night when you realized, I didn't pay my Netflix subscription, dude.
Exactly. This is the world we're in. And, I've dealt with FEMA before. I was in a wildfire in Northern California. I got evacuated. I had to call FEMA, get some of that emergency assistance money to, scramble and get a hotel room and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, FEMA is one of these government organizations that really does matter, and especially when you actually need and want them. But the FEMA disaster chief says that he can teleport, although in fairness, Nick, he cannot control it. He's in that stage of the superhero story. He's still figuring out how to work the powers.
It's just learning, dude. Like even Marty McFly had to figure out how to do certain shit.
Exactly. When Spider-Man first got his powers, he wasn't sure how to stick to the walls and all that. But resurfaced comments, which, by the way, that means this is something the guy had said in the past, and yet he still got this job. And this was already out there, but it's just now being rediscovered now that he's actually in an important job.
I've got a two-part video for you. This is not only going to show you some of his teleporting comments that he says in a very serious way, but he's a douchebag all the way around. Like, this is what I'm learning. And these are people that I guess, I don't know, unless they say something crazy, we shouldn't really know your name. You know, I shouldn't know who Greg Phillips is, but now I do, and you will as well. Here's part one of this teleporting video.
It's the origin story.
We had a teleport incident, 2 of them, and I end up at a Waffle House like 50 miles away from where I was.
That man who is, yes, talking about teleporting to a Waffle House is Greg Phillips, and he now holds one of the most important jobs at FEMA, overseeing the Office of Response and Recovery.
It was an incredibly frightening moment to experience yourself in your car flying through the air. But I tell you, teleporting is no fun.
Phillips is a far-right activist, and he now helps determine how the government responds when disaster strikes, coordinating billions of dollars in search and rescue operations and emergency aid. He was appointed to this position in December, and a CNN K-File review of Phillips' podcast and social media history found a long record of extraordinary personal claims.
We then tracked down what we felt like were 3 million non-citizen voters.
Election fraud conspiracy theories, and violent rhetoric towards public officials.
You said we know that 3 million illegally voted. Do you have the proof?
Yes.
Will you provide it?
Yes.
Can I have it?
No.
In January 2025, after Trump took office, Phillips was discussing a Trump executive order that targeted intelligence officials who had questioned the veracity of Hunter Biden's laptop before the 2020 election. Phillips said this:
I'm going to find you. I'm going to track you down. I'm going to beat the living snot out of you.
Wow. Okay, now, first of all, in his defense, I mean, if a FEMA guy can transport stuff, I mean, that may get aid to citizens quicker. There could be an upside to his superpowers.
He said it's not fun and he can't control it, so don't give him any credit, dude.
Yeah, he's getting there. Now, I hate to make the obvious joke, but I've had a few too many to drink and transported to a Denny's in the middle of the night. At least that's what I felt happened. Like, it's time travel. I don't remember how I got to Denny's, but here I am. So, obviously, that's what this reeks of. Who the hell just gets teleported to a fucking Waffle House in Georgia?
And let's be honest, if you've ever been to a Waffle House, like, that's the last place you're going to choose as your teleport destination.
Right. And he said, does your next clip have the quote from him talking about he was with his boys and then he just was in Georgia, this Waffle House?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
I don't know, but
I've got a quote from him here.
Yeah, go ahead.
He says, quote, I was with my boys one time and I was telling them I was going to go to the Waffle House and get some Waffle House. And I ended up at a Waffle House. This was in Georgia. And I end up at a Waffle House like 50 miles away from where I was. And they said, where are you? And I said, a Waffle House. And a Waffle House where? And I said, a Waffle House in Rome, Georgia. And they said, that's not possible. You just left here a moment ago. But it was possible. It was real. That's a real fucking quote from one of that FEMA.
This guy is off his rocker. And again, he holds the highest position at FEMA, dude.
Yeah, one of the upper levels there. So, okay, I feel like if I felt that I could teleport, that I would probably not make that public admission, especially if I thought I was going to have any sort of prominent role in the government now or in the future.
Yes, a public admission. Like, maybe you'd tell me, like, dude, I had this weird thing that happened. And I would talk you down from it and be like, no, you didn't teleport, dude. You were drunk or you were on acid.
Say, I was smoking a bowl of Bigfoot and I woke up at a Waffle House in Rome, Georgia. Like, fuck, man, who knew?
We've all had those days where, like, we've had a long day or whatever when we're driving and then we're home and we're like, oh, I don't remember any of my drive.
Right,
you know?
Sure.
So maybe it was something like that, but I don't think so. This guy's completely nuts. Listen to what else is going on with Greg Phillips.
Okay.
He then talked about former President Joe Biden.
I would like to punch that in the mouth right now. He is a nasty, crappy human being, and he deserves to die, and I hope he does.
Phillips first rose to prominence promoting false claims of widespread voter fraud in the 2016 and 2020 elections. The unfounded claims were widely disputed by both courts and election officials. On multiple occasions, Phillips described migrants crossing the southern border as an invading force and urged people to arm themselves.
The war is here. They want you dead. They've come here to kill you. Be well armed. Take care of your family.
The person making these remarks is now in a position of public trust at an agency where judgment, credibility, and calm decision-making carry life or death consequences. A FEMA spokesperson told CNN, "This is so silly, it's barely worth acknowledging. DHS, FEMA, and Mr. Phillips are focused on the critical mission of emergency management and ensuring the safety of the American people. Many of the comments cited are taken out of context or represent personal, informal, jovial, and somewhat spiritual discussions made in the context of barely surviving cancer, in a private capacity prior to his current role."
Oh, good grief. Try to blame surviving cancer for his crazy comments.
Dude, that is absolutely bullshit. I mean, again, it sounds like if you were fighting cancer, maybe you were on some big drugs, dude, and some of this stuff came to you, but these are not the things that you say publicly. And to warn the public, like, migrants are coming to kill you, stay armed. This is no one that we should have in any position in our government.
No, this does speak to the type of people in MAGA world and in Trump's, cabinet and higher up officials like this dude that, yeah, he believes that Joe Biden is some terrible human that deserves to be punched in the mouth. He believes in the, fraudulent election schemes, and he believes that he teleported to a fucking Waffle House in the middle of the night. And I believe he said he's done it twice. So this is the litmus test for MAGA world.
Yes, it is. And we'll go into some polls later in this podcast on whether or not MAGA, people who subscribe to MAGA, are getting tired of this or if they're still eating this shit up.
Right. Well, they're into conspiracy theories and they're into batshit crazy people running the country. I mean, at some levels, I don't know that what he said is any crazier than some of the stuff Trump says on a daily basis or any of his other people.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Think about the fact that we were all like, oh, thank God Kristi Noem is out. Things are going to get so much better. And then the person named as a replacement, Mark Wayne Mullen, Republican out of Oklahoma, is batshit crazy.
Ice Cowboy.
Yeah, Ice Cowboy. And gosh, there's a bunch of stuff going on now because some of his confirmation hearing made the highlight reel of this past week. Let me tell you, first of all, I'm going to play a video of you. And then this is cut way the fuck down because I just can't.
Say there was so much in that hearing that I kind of lost track. So
yeah.
I'm willing to bet some of the stuff you're going to play, not even I have seen it all. So.
Well, Mark Wayne Mullen did start crying at one point, reminiscing about how President Trump and he became friends. Okay, so if you didn't know, this is how they became friendly.
So my son was a really world-class athlete, and January 17th of 2020, which, mind you, was an election year, he had a really serious brain injury. Woke up 26 hours later, and he's a different kid. We almost lost him. The president found out about it, and he gave me a call immediately. He said, "Let me get this straight. He doesn't know who you and Kristi are, but he knew who I was because the only question you got right is who the president was." And he said, "Trump," with his cocky grin on his face. And
Trump would care.
but the president didn't understand the severity of it, but he heard it in my voice, and immediately he went to work. And the president offered to send his plane, his personal plane. This is the president of the United States. We get there, and he called almost every day for 2 weeks checking on Jim. And then he says, "I'm going to come see him." And his team came to him twice and said, "Sir, we got to go. We got to go." On the third time they came over to him, he looked at him and he says, "Hey, I guarantee you that plane won't leave without me." And for the next 15 minutes, he did nothing but love on my son. He grabbed my son and he said, "Do you know why I love your dad? Do you know why I love your dad?" Kristi tells the story better than I do. And he goes, "No, sir." He goes, "Because he loves you. Because of you. Because of you." Man, he didn't do it for any other reason. I mean, here's the president of the United States, and he did it just because he cared. We were acquaintances before that. We've been friends ever since.
The American people need to hear that. Thank you.
We really, definitely. We needed to know that shit ass bullshit story.
I was going to say, I haven't heard enough made up stories from Trump world. So he's claiming that Trump went there 3 times and this was never documented, never on film. And Trump went there because he cares so much about the kids. And I believe he said son, not daughter.
Yeah, right.
That I would believe if it was a teenage daughter. But.
Yes, loving on my daughter. You know what? And it's just, I mean, the way that story starts off, the fact that he only remembered who the president was. Like, I love this kid. He's great, you know.
I mean, that part I could believe, where Trump's like, someone's got a brain injury. They only remember me. Well, okay. I mean, geez,
Right. I'm in.
I mean, seriously. I mean, he's such a fucking narcissist that part I could believe. Like, you would want to go see him then. But yeah, I don't believe any of it. This entire administration is just a boy that cried wolf. So I don't believe any of your shit. And as we've talked about before, any story in Trump world that includes the word "sir" is almost always a lie. Yes. Sir, we found tariff money on the shelf. Sir, there's no one at the border down here. Sir, my son only remembers you. The word "sir" is a red flag. That's all bullshit.
Every single time. You can count on it, dude. As we keep watching some of these clips, dude, I'm just going to play a couple more. But Markwayne Mullin steps up and Rand Paul is talking to him. Apparently Markwayne Mullin made light of Rand Paul being attacked from behind, right?
Yeah, and said he, agreed with the guy or whatever, or could sympathize with him, something like that.
Right. So Rand Paul questions him over that whole thing, and it doesn't seem like he backed down from it at all.
You told the media that I was a freaking snake and that you completely understood why I had been assaulted. Today, I'll give you that chance to clear the record. Tell it to my face. If that's what you believe, tell it to me today. Tell the world why you believe I deserve to be assaulted from behind. And while you're at it, explain to the American public why they should trust a man with anger issues to set the proper example for ICE and Border Patrol agents.
I'm not apologizing for pointing out your character.
Good. So you're jolly well fine, and you want the American public and the people up here to vote that may or may not vote for you to know that you supported the felonious, violent attack on me from behind.
I did not say I supported it. I said I understood it.
Wow.
First of all, I watched a movie last night called Assaulted from Behind. It was not about Rand Paul, but it was.
You had to enter your ID in to get into it.
Yes. But yeah, that's great. And just on a quick related note, like, I'm sure that Markwayne there never thought that Rand Paul would hold his fate in his hands as far as getting him voted to be approved. But you know what? Rand Paul did not vote for his approval, but you know who fucking did? The one vote that made the difference.
Who?
Fucking John Fetterman. Fetterman, Democrat from Pennsylvania. The Mr. Wishy-Washy who's going to get primaried this year and I hope gets thrown the fuck out of office. But, Fetterman, when he started, I thought was a good dude, salt of the earth kind of working class man. And boy, I mean, he is just a closeted mega type. So, yeah, he was the vote that pushed it over the edge to get his confirmation on to now, I think, the whatever other house or the full Senate to vote, I think is where it's going.
Yes. Let me say that, we were just hearing about a brain injury, and I'm not making light of this at all, but Fetterman has a brain injury.
That's a valid point.
And you know what? Fetterman before the brain injury seemed a lot different to me, and brain injuries change people. I mean, they change the way you smell oftentimes. They change your temperament. It changes a lot. I mean, it's a brain injury, dude.
And then there is a recurring theme. Someone like RFK who had a worm eat half his brain, people that have been through, cancer treatments. I mean, that wears on your body heavily. So
come to find out, the brain's kind of important, part of our body and psyche and everything else. Listen to Fetterman talking about all of this. He says a lot without saying anything at all as far as I'm concerned here.
Are you a yes or a no on Senator Mullin's confirmation?
Well, I came up with an open mind, and I'm going to maintain that. That was always my commitment to do that.
Did the comments from Senator Rand Paul give you pause at all?
Right. Well, absolutely what happened to my colleague from Kentucky is terrible. Political violence is awful, and he was in the hospital in pain. No one wants that kind of thing. The moment that we're in right now, we kind of just find a way forward and just kind of let things go. That's their prerogative not to, but he's here for that reason, and that's why I have an open mind as well, too. It's a strange devotion to me to shut down the entire DHS when we all know that's not going to make the kinds of changes that we all want in ICE. And now it's part of, there's multiple truths here. I grieve for Renee Good and Alex Pitty. But we don't hear the name Lincoln Riley and from the other conversations about that. So that's all collective. They were failures. And now we need to find a better way forward, and now not by shutting the entire thing down. So pay everybody, keep our government more secure, and reopen it.
Tell me there's not something wrong with him. I mean,
yes, there is, and maybe it is the brain injury. I just don't know, because he's gone off the fucking deep end.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, to say, no, I heard the Rand Paul comments, but hey, I'm okay with that. To say this whole ICE thing, like the DHS shutdown, that's part of the, the government shutdown. We're not funding TSA right now. Like, of course that's terrible. But of course it is. Of course, no one wants long lines. No one wants these employees not to be getting paid. But Fetterman, we are in the minority, and these are one of the only times we have any bargaining chip. And we are only the Democrats asking for very reasonable restrictions on ICE, who have killed the people he just mentioned, plus others that have been in detention, other shootings that have not gotten the the publicity. So you don't give up your bargaining chip. And he was one of the assholes that last shutdown, when the Dems were trying to get us all not to have our Obamacare premium spike. He was one of the people that bent over. Like, dude, you got a bargaining chip. It's one of the few we have. So why would you just give that up?
Yes, and you made the point that no one wants that. If that's the truth, the Republicans won't want it either, and that's will fall into line and have a vote that makes both people happy. Imagine that. It's never going to happen. I also take issue with him mentioning Renee Good, Alex Preddy, and Lincoln Riley in the same conversation. It's not the same, dude. We can all be sad that all three of those people were murdered, but two of them happened in a very different way.
Right. No, absolutely. No.
But so let's finish this off by if you didn't think that it was crazy enough that Markwayne Mullin was like, yeah, I mean, I guess I understand why you got your ass kicked from behind. He brings up a duel in this conversation as if it is, still something that we can go forward with, because he's always wanting to fight people in the courtroom. He is. So, listen to this.
In the days after the fight, you did many interviews in which you justified the violence as historically justified by precedents, such as caning and dueling. Is it today your opinion that the caning of Charles Sumner was not only justified, but argues still for resolving our political differences with violence?
What I was simply pointing out is some of the rules that still apply to this body. For instance, dueling with two consenting adults is still there. I was pointing out what is still
illegal for 170 years. There's no precedent for legal dueling. Even then, they fled the country. Do you realize that the man that beat Charles Sumner with a cane, he beat him till he was unconscious? You know why no senators intervened? Because his friend held a gun on the other senators, and he kept beating him until he crushed his skull. That's what you're insinuating is the precedent of the Senate, and that's what you live by. That is a very, very dangerous sentiment.
Yeah. The fact that he would even bring that shit up, dude.
Right. Again, this is MAGA world. They'll defend the indefensible. And, people with anger problems are a real thing, and they're really not somebody who you want in a prominent position, especially when that is ICE's entire problem, is that they all seem to have anger problems and little dick problems and lashing out. And, never forget the asshole that murdered Renee Good right after he shot her in the face, called her a fucking bitch.
Yes. Yeah. Hard to forget that because it happened right after he pulled the trigger and Renee Good was dead. So
it's too bad they didn't duel. Apparently that would have been okay.
If consenting adults.
Right.
Come on.
Jeez.
Be consenting adults, dude.
Nice job, Fetterman. Awesome.
Hey, dude, as we see crazy people in our government, we need to point out another that in some ways is kind of a hero. I'm talking about Joe Kent, who said, you know what? I am going to take off because I don't support this war. What was his position?
He was one of the higher ups in national intelligence.
Yes.
Under
So
Tulsi Gabbard. And just to put the asterisk before anyone freaks out on us, yeah, he is a right-wing conspiracy theorist. He seems to be anti-Semitic. He seems to have some neo-Nazi sympathies. Like, he's not a great person, but politics make for strange bedfellows. Enemy of your enemy is our friend. Like, he's not wrong as far as he was in a position to know if Iran was an imminent threat or not, and had the balls to at least do something.
yeah, so he made that statement on X or Twitter or whatever it's called. And he went on Tucker Carlson to just explain a little bit. This is just him in his own words. This is what Joe Kent had to say, who is a crazy son of a bitch, but he was deployed over 11 times, so he kind of knows what's going on in the arena.
It's fair.
Was Iran on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon?
No, they weren't. 3 weeks ago when this started, and they weren't in June either. I mean, the Iranians have had a religious ruling, a fatwa, against actually developing a nuclear weapon since 2004. That's been in place since 2004. That's available in the public sphere. But then also we had no intelligence to indicate that fatwa was being disobeyed or it was on the cusp of being lifted.
Of course.
So you hear him speaking. I mean, that's all very reasonable, and it's what we all know. And then just keep in mind, like, this is a guy that you just described has some picadillos, some strange picadillos.
Yes.
Caroline Levitt was asked if Trump knew all this stuff about this guy and thought he was weak all along. Why did he place him in this position?
Yeah, why do he have a job? Yeah.
The White House was warned last year when the president nominated Kent that he had a history of embracing conspiracy theories, that he had some ties to white nationalists. Given that, why did the president nominate him to the position in the first place?
The president spoke on this a little bit yesterday in the Oval Office. He said he always thought Joe Kent was a good guy, obviously has a commendable military record and experience. However, he was not someone who was involved in the presidential daily brief, part of the president's intelligence briefings over the last several months. Have not seen him here at the White House for quite some time, and the president feels it's deeply disappointing that after the president gave him an opportunity in this administration to serve the American people, that he would resign with a letter filled with falsehoods.
She went on to ask Caroline, like, if President Trump knew all these things, like that he was into conspiracy theories and he into white nationalism, like, why did he well, I told you, he gave him a chance. Like,
right.
In what world, other than the Trump world, are those things a positive on your resume?
Yeah, it's obviously not. And Trump knew all of those things and still he has said it and she just said it. Like, he was a good guy. I liked him. I mean, we had some things in common. We would talk about conspiracy theories and white nationalism. And so thought I'd give the young upstart a chance.
Yeah, and I don't know what space you want to put Joe Kent in, but I mean some of the other folks that Trump says, nice person, good guy, good, Ghislaine Maxwell, she was a good person,
Right.
Jeffrey Epstein, I thought he was a good guy,
Terrific guy, yes.
Yeah, terrific guy. So this is the company that he holds, I suppose.
Yeah. And on the Iran war topic, I mean, we've lost more soldiers and we had another round of dignified transfers. And, we were all correctly aghast last round when Trump showed up with his fucking $50 MAGA hat on and Fox News tried to edit it because they knew it looked terrible and all that stuff. So the families of 6 U.S. Air Force airmen who died last week when a refueling aircraft crashed while supporting military operations in Iran had explicitly asked for privacy during the dignified transfer of the remains this week, which the president attended. And I'll tell you, Nick, he did not wear a hat this time. And do you know how I know that?
Because he wasn't there, or?
No, he was there, but they asked for no media coverage of this, and the media respected it and didn't cover it. But the White House decided that they were going to take pictures and they were going to tweet them out. So the White House ignored the family's request and posted on social media a picture of Trump with no hat on, with a coffin going right in front of him, just because they wanted to get the publicity, which we know Trump has been fundraising off of that. He has sent out emails with these pictures of him doing this, asking for, donations off of dead soldiers that are only dead because he decided to start a war. And they explicitly ignored the family and said, we won't have the media there, but we'll cover it ourselves.
It is such bullshit, dude. I mean, and it's not the first time that that they have disrespected what the family has asked for. There were other funerals in which they have said, we don't want any press here or anything else, and they've not respected that. I don't know how any vet can be on board with this president. I really don't.
Right. Well, Pete Hegseth is technically a veteran. He's the Secretary of Nothingness, but he took advantage of the families this week as well, did he not?
Yeah, he did. Here is a video of Pete Hegseth talking about what happened after he was at Dover to witness some of the caskets coming home.
My 13-year-old son popped into my office last night while I was editing these remarks. He asked about the war and the families I met at Dover. And I looked at him and I said, They died for you, son, so that your generation doesn't have to deal with a nuclear Iran. It's the truth.
Bullshit.
And they did. To the families who said, finish this, we will. And I say the same to every American who wants peace through strength. May Almighty God continue to bless our troops in this fight. And again, to the American people, please pray for them every day.
On bended
knee.
Yes,
because
with
we
your
put
family,
way.
in your schools, in your
schools.
churches, in the name of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this whole separation of church and state, pray for them in your schools on bended knee. Let's make a big deal out of praying. Don't do it silently. Let's really get down, because us MAGA folks, we like to let everyone know when we're praying and make a big deal out of it. He said in this statement to the families who said, finish this, we will.
Finish it, Pete.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Well, we have heard from some of the family members. Specifically, let's see here, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said he met privately Wednesday with the family of the 6 dead soldiers, and he gave that whole little speech that you just heard right there. But one of the families, the family of Charles Simmons, 28-year-old, who died over there in this accident, his family has come out and said on the record that, I can't speak for the other families, this is a quote, he said, when he spoke to me, that was not something we talked about. In other words, I never said finish this for my son. So it's a bullshit thing that he said, exploiting the death of their child. And I also call bullshit that Pete Hegseth's 13-year-old son, when dad came home, was like, gee, Dad, tell me about what the soldier said that you talked to today. And not to mention a way to just give your kid nightmares, like, those dead soldiers are dead for you, son.
They did it for you. And you'll notice we just talked about, like, when Trump uses the phrase, sir, or it's true, it's not true. And Pete Hegseth just did the same thing. He was like, my son came in and I said, yeah, he died for you, son. It's true. No, it's not, dude. What is your 12-year-old son doing barging into your office as you prepare these remarks or whatever you're doing? It's all bullshit.
Right. And as whoever here points out, and Christ coded, this is, something that always bothers me about religion, but not every religious person is so self-centered that I've heard a lot of people say, pray to God. They don't name the God, or they say, pray to your God. Like this whole pray to Jesus Christ. Like, fuck Islam, fuck Buddhism, fuck any religion. Just Jesus Christ is who you need to pray to. And to say that you should be doing it in your schools, like, fuck you.
Yeah, it's a big thing that they've just grabbed onto, especially in the last 6 months of, we're going to start saying Jesus Christ again. We're not going to be afraid to say that. And it is, I think it's so wrong. There's so many things said in the Bible that talk about being quiet about your religion, praying and not letting people know what I've prayed for, or doing good for people, whether it be feeding people or housing people, whatever it might be. But you don't go tell people, because that's not what it's all about, turns out. But yeah, it's unbelievable the way that they're all, pray on bended knee. Don't fucking tell me, first of all, how to pray. Don't tell me who to pray to, and don't tell me to pray.
Right. In fairness, I am evoking Jesus a lot nowadays. I read the news. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that counts.
I don't think so, but who knows? I'm not one to say. Pete Hegseth went on, they're asking for more money for this war that was supposed to be done in 4 weeks. We are approaching that. I mean, we'll be into 4 weeks next week, won't we?
Yeah, we're coming up on it. And yeah, did you see how much he's asking for, which I'm sure is only a down payment?
Yeah, let's see what it is and
there
why.
was a report last night that the Pentagon asked the White House for $200 billion for Iran war supplemental. Can you confirm this, and can you explain why a package this large is necessary?
As far as $200 billion, I think that number could move, obviously.
Sure.
It takes money to kill bad guys. So we're going back to Congress and our folks there to ensure that we're properly funded for what's been done, for what we may have to do in the future. Ensure that our ammunition everything's refilled, and not just refilled, but above and beyond.
First of all, Pete Hegseth knows nothing about a large package.
No, he does not. I thought that exact same thing. And second of all, we lost Chuck Norris today, and I don't think it cost him anything to kill bad guys, dude. I think he killed a lot of bad guys, and I don't think he spent near what you're trying to spend. So
that's fair, yes. And Chuck was a conservative leading guy, so I don't know. One would assume he's watching what's going on in Trump world, and that's why he keeled over. But I'm not a doctor. Just saying, it's a possibility.
Just saying.
Yeah. Got any more Iran news?
No, I think I'm done with Iran news.
Let's just do a quick update on Epstein. I don't want to spend a bunch of time on this, but there was a rather significant development in the Epstein file world this week.
Okay, let's do that.
Yet again, we appear to have caught Trump lying. Now, the first, him blatantly lying was the infamous birthday card that was the silhouette of a teenage girl, not of a woman, which means he knew what Epstein was up to. The second lie we've caught Trump in is him telling the chief of police down there in Florida in 2006 that he knew what Epstein was up to, which does not match with the timeline. And how do you know what he was up to? You've never acknowledged any of that stuff. But we have a new development this week. The president and his administration have repeatedly claimed that Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. As, Epstein was obviously trafficking female employees from the club, which we have heard about. But yeah, we've heard Trump say many times that he threw him out of Mar-a-Lago because he knew what he was up to, right?
Yes, he was stealing my employees.
Right. Among the files that were released, there was a heavily redacted version of a 2009 email from Epstein's attorney. On Wednesday of this week, New York Rep. Dan Goldman said on the House floor that he had seen the unredacted version and he displayed it, which he mentioned was the complete email. The conversations that took place in the course of that entire email appeared to be directly contradicting Trump's claims that he had thrown Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. The disgraced financier, it said, quote, in the email, was never asked to leave Mar-a-Lago, never asked to leave. The now unredacted email chain showed that when Trump was asked about flying on any of those private jets, which we know he has,
sure,
he gave the dubious answer of saying that, well, he may have been on some of those flights. This is from a 2009 email that Trump said, I may have been on some of those flights.
And that's after that he said that I cut ties with Epstein, right?
Yeah, he said he threw Epstein out somewhere around 2003 to 6, somewhere in that window. So here he is in 2009, the world of Epstein saying, like, no one ever told us to leave Mar-a-Lago. He was never thrown out. And we know he was never officially a member there, not that he needed to be. But the email unredacted, which means the original version was redacted that had this incriminating information. And then Goldman got the unredacted version, and it shows that, Trump was fucking lying.
Imagine that. Imagine that, dude.
I know. But I'm just saying the evidence is mounting that, like we have always said, And I just want to be clear. Like, I wish we had some concrete evidence that Trump was doing something bad with teenage girls, because I would just love to hang that around his neck. But we don't have that. But we do have multiple, proof that he knew what Epstein was up to. He didn't stop it. He went along with it. He never tried to, in 2006, when he called that chief of police, that's when Epstein was first going up on trial. So now it was coming out. So Trump was trying to cover his own ass. And that's why he picked up the phone and called the chief of police. It was like, oh, I'm glad you guys are chasing him down. Like, everyone knows what he's up to. Like, but don't look at me.
100% to save his own ass, but then to have all of these communications after that fact is just what we've always said it is. Silence is violence. You knew what was going on. You didn't say anything.
Yes.
I think you're equally as bad as Epstein, whether you touched a girl or not. You knew it was happening. So
exactly. I made that point before too. Like, if I knew you were doing something crazy and I didn't report it, that makes me as guilty, if not more. Because apparently if somebody's doing something twisted, they have a mental defect. So if I'm apparently a good person watching you and I don't say anything, I don't stop it, like, that's as bad, if not worse. So that is clearly what was going on. And again, Trump's DOJ tried to redact that. They're only supposed to be redacting like victims' names.
Huh. Yeah, well, Pam Bondi, they questioned her on it again this week, and, she basically said, you guys have no idea, with only, I don't know, it was 200 or 500 lawyers that they put together to do all of this document review. She was like, we came as close as we could to meeting that timeline of the court order. You don't understand what these pages stack up to the Eiffel Tower, and we did the best we could. Well, it's not fucking good enough, dude, and it shouldn't be done. Even if you didn't, obviously you've already blown through the timeline and botched this whole thing. It should still be happening. You should still be releasing. And we know that there is stuff in there that would put people behind bars, whether it's Trump or not. We just want anyone to be held accountable for all of these victims. That's it.
Why don't you ask for $200 billion to hire more help to get the files out quickly and redacted properly?
Exactly. Apparently, we're just a piggy bank, dude. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. This just doesn't seem important for a very interesting reason. You don't want to hurt his friends. That's what Trump said. Well, my friends will be hurt, and so will he.
Yeah.
So,
no, exactly.
It's pretty crazy. Is MAGA pulling away? Well, you know what? You would think with all this stuff, I thought for sure when these Epstein files were, when this whole thing was botched and it didn't come out like it was supposed to, that there was a lot of people from MAGA originally that were pissed, but we're caught up in so much more bullshit now. Are they pissed? They just recently did a poll on CNN to see who is still with MAGA from that MAGA party. It's an interesting look inside.
MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approve 100%. 100%. If you are a member of MAGA in the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump. 0% say that they disapprove. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%. He is the 1972 Miami Dolphins. Now, there are some Republicans who disapprove of Donald John Trump, but they are not members of the Make America Great Again movement. The bottom line is this. Right. If you are a member of MAGA, you approve of Donald Trump.
It's interesting, though, because they're...
What a disingenuous poll.
100%, right? Because how do we know how many people are a part of MAGA to begin with?
Because they self-identify. And if you're self-identifying as a MAGA Republican, obviously you support Trump, or you would not call yourself that.
Right. Yes. Obviously. You're 100% right. So, yes, that is disingenuous.
I mean, it's like saying I am, a 100% of Steves. All identify as Steve still. Like, if you call yourself that, of course you're still a Trump supporter. But how many Republicans either aren't MAGA or no longer call themselves Republicans because they want nothing to do with that?
Yeah, well, we saw this week. I mean, this is one MAGA who did say, you know what, enough is enough.
If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You are a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
Yes. That's see, guys, from the cult, that's all it takes. That's your exit card right there. Apparently, I'm an idiot. My bad. I'm sorry.
And if you ask that woman right now, are you MAGA? She would not say yes.
Right. Yes. And
So
she was
it's a
former.
horribly disingenuous poll, but I think Harry Etten, who I generally like, just wanted to have some poll that was like 100%. Like, what do you know? Like,
Yes. So we got other little stuff that we can talk about here. Unless you have anything else going on, let me know.
well, I've got a few stories that I want to get out there, but we got to kind of rapid fire them. So,
Okay.
do you have any video things, any other things you want to get out first?
Well, we can. Let me know if you have seen this video. It's very short. Just tell me what you think about it and if you've seen it, okay?
Well, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit.
What the hell? What was that? No, I have not seen that. Was he just patting her on the ass?
Yeah. You want to see it again?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit.
What?
Okay.
Who was that?
Secret Service agent.
Wow.
Okay. So
unless they're on a baseball team together going out to take them out, like, what the hell?
Tell me what you think about this, dude, because so I saw this pop up a couple of different places. Obviously, I didn't see it on an NBC or a CNN or anything like that, but I saw it scrolling through social media. I was like,
Did we fact check this?
Well, let me tell you. Okay, so I did. I started to try and fact check and say, like, is this a real clip? Is this actually something that happened? And everything I went to, from ChatGPT to Google, everything said yes, it's a real clip.
Wow.
Then excused it with the fact that this is common practice in Secret Service maneuvers. And I was like, and I even to ChatGPT, I said back, I was like, it's not her guiding him out of a room or something of danger. It's him touching her. And ChatGPT said common practice to let them Secret Service know where their subject currently is. I was like, this is not that, dude.
Now, listen, I have seen a lot of celebrities when they're in a crowd or something, they will have their hand on the shoulder of their security detail so that the security can keep their eyes forward, but they know their person they're protecting is right behind them because they're touching them. I have never seen Taylor Swift or Brad Pitt or anybody goose their security guards
Right.
as they're walking through. So it may be common practice to pat them from behind on the back or the shoulder. Do you think he pats any of the male agents on the ass like that?
I showed it to Rachel last night, and I was like, this is what ChatGPT is saying. Like, this is common practice. And she was like, maybe mid-back, I could take that. But down on the butt, like, that's not common practice, I promise you.
Yeah, like Pat here says, that's the only action Donnie is getting. Yeah, I do wonder. I mean, obviously, him and Melania are not, bumping fuzzies by any means, but who is he with? A wise man once told me, like, if you and your wife aren't having sex, she's getting it somewhere else. And Melania has to be getting tapped somewhere else. But who is Donnie screwing, besides me?
I think he's screwing America and he's screwing himself. Like, I don't think anyone maybe Laura Loomer.
Well, there has been rumors about that for sure. So I don't know.
So, yeah, I don't know. Everything that I looked at on the net about this clip, it came back as, yes, it is a real clip. But like I said, you would think this would be all over mainstream media.
I would think that, yeah.
So I'm not going to guarantee it is real, but from the research I did, it said it was.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it does make a lot of sense. So there you go. Fun stuff.
Yeah. We've got things we can talk about with video from President Trump telling Gavin Newsom he's dumb, and Gavin Newsom's wife snapping back at President Trump, if you'd like to see that.
Sure. I know Trump keeps trying to belittle Newsom because he's afraid of him.
Yeah. Here's Trump basically telling Gavin Newsom he's dumb and
with a low IQ person, because Gavin Newsom has admitted that he has learning disabilities. Honestly, I'm all for people with learning disabilities. But
you
not
are?
for the president.
Sure.
I think a president should not have learning disabilities, okay? And I know it's highly controversial to say such a horrible thing. The President of the United States, Gavin Newsom, admitted that he has learning disabilities, dyslexia. Everything about him is dumb.
That's yeah. I mean, that is unbelievable. So it's not very often. I mean, I will say this, dude. Like one time, I was attacked in the media, because we are in the media, and Rachel got on and she was like, "I'm not going to let that slide," and she fired back at people. I was like, "Let me fight my own battles. Please don't do that." So when I saw this, I was like, "Oh, Gavin Newsom's wife stepping up, saying something," and I didn't mind it so much. See what you think.
Okay.
I just witnessed Donald Trump's comments about learning disabilities and my husband, suggesting that someone with dyslexia or any learning difference for that matter is somehow less capable of leading or achieving is extremely ignorant and offensive. Yes. Dyslexia is not a measure of intelligence. In fact, quite the contrary, and learning differences do not determine someone's potential. On the contrary, some of the most successful leaders in business and the world have dyslexia. Day in and day out, Trump says things that make him unfit for office. He degrades our vulnerable communities, our institutions, even the Constitution itself. And somehow we're told to ignore it. As someone who grew up in a Republican household, shame on the Republican Party for normalizing this vile specimen of a human being stationed at the top of their party. If we're going to talk about what's disqualifying in a leader, let's talk about that.
Please.
A convicted felon, a man found liable for sexual abuse, a man notorious for degrading female journalists, a man with a track record for bankrupting businesses, a man whose name has shown up thousands of times in the Epstein files, a man who sends mass extremists to terrorize Black and brown communities and rip kids away from their families, the most corrupt president in our nation's history.
Boom. Boom.
Everything that Donald Trump represents is frankly beyond disqualifying.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Right. Pretty, do you think she's a cutie patootie or what?
I mean, everything she just said kind of excited me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, yeah, get it, girl.
That might be our next first lady right there. So, yeah, kudos to her. And I'm extremely sure Gavin did not put her up to that. But good for her for getting out there. And, of course, she's right about everything. And honestly, I mean, dyslexia, I know it's like a learning disability or something. It doesn't affect your intelligence. And it actually would make most people, my dad has dyslexia, a very well-known, successful surgeon, oncologist, saved all people's lives, all sorts of people's lives. Like, if anything, it just makes you study harder and make sure you're, more meticulous in your actions and whatnot. So
it's what most people with dyslexia say. It turns into a superpower because I have to study that much harder. And yeah, it can be done. So obviously,
yeah. No,
Trump's an idiot. Did you see Donald Trump misgender the Irish president?
I did.
That was good. I got video of that if you want to. You've already seen it. So
I don't know if the audience has, but yeah, sure.
All right, it's quick. Here.
The Irish president has said that your war against Iran is illegal. It's an attack on international law.
Who said that?
The Irish president.
Look, he's lucky I exist. That's all I can say.
He doesn't know
Because
who that
if
is.
you're going to allow countries that are sick and demented, and they are demented, to have nuclear weapons, everybody in the whole world should be very thankful.
What's with him just sitting there, too, letting that kind of shit slide? But Trump doesn't know who anyone is. He always misgenders or calls a prime minister the president or whatever. Like, he's fucking clueless.
Yes, 100%. And it's just, it's just, I mean, yeah, why wouldn't that guy speak up and be like, excuse me, like our president is not a man.
He's afraid Trump's going to bomb Ireland. So
Yeah, it's probably true. Yeah.
And speaking of Trump being a moron, I find this so freaking funny. Financial news for you here. Let's see. Oh, shit. I'm losing my shit now. Okay. So, yes, things are suddenly looking incredibly bad for Trump's social media company. So Truth Social over there. President Trump's struggling Truth Social network traded on the stock market as the DJT company. Get this, and I'm no business expert, but you tell me if you think this makes sense. It came out this month in financial reportings that his Truth Social burned through a staggering $712 million last year while only making $3.7 million.
What?
spent over 700 million, only made a little shy of 4 million.
Well, that makes you bankrupt, right?
I'm not good at math, but I think that's a $708 million loss. And the company's stock that was once trading at $80 a share, I checked it earlier today, it's trading at $8.49 a share. It is almost completely worthless at this point, and they're talking about trying to spin off True Social or burn it or something. But holy shit, over 700 million spent, and they only made a little over 3 million in ad revenue.
It takes money to make money, Steve, but they didn't make any money. Right?
I mean, this is just on the long list of Trump financial just implosions, from casinos to bottled water, everything this man does. The so-called business genius.
Yes. Well, everyone says, like, I can, all the other shit I can take, that, he bankrupted a business there. But when it comes to casinos, to bankrupt a casino, you have to be a fucking idiot 10 times over.
The house always wins, and it tends to be true, unless it's a Trump house. So,
yes. Here's Seam V2, I think. Garbage stock. I trade stock. So, yeah, garbage stock. That's right.
Yeah, it's probably just going to go lower. Some would say, buy now, it's really low. Like, nah, I don't. It's probably just going to fall off of even trading eligibility at some point. So that's hilarious.
I'm sure, dude. And speaking of stocks, dude, it's coming out now that, what's homeboy's name? Mark Wayne Mullen. He was sitting in the room when they talked about going into Venezuela and that Chevron was going to increase in prices, and all these people, including Mark Wayne, put all their money in on Chevron, and the stock went way up. It's so crazy to hear Trump say, like, this insider trading thing within Congress has got to stop, but not for him and not for his cronies,
No, I mean, that's the definition of insider trading and skeeziness.
Yes. 100%. I feel bad for anyone who's got some travel to do right now, as we are seeing long lines at airports and everything else. And I thought, oh, God, my wife's got to travel next week. I know that's going to be a pain in the ass for her. So, yeah, this is getting really bad. And then I came across this video and I thought, oh, Steve, you may want to watch this video just so you don't travel with your guitar. This is the saddest thing I've seen coming from an airport in a long, long time, my friend. Let me know how it feels.
Okay.
Is this a bad thing?
First of all, who was that, a band traveling? Why are there so many guitars being put on one flight?
Just band traveling, dude.
That's odd. Listen, I saw one soft shell case in there, and you are a fucking moron if you travel with a soft shell case in your guitar. I mean, you should at a minimum have your standard hard shell, but I would always get an anvil case that are truly like bulletproof. So you're asking for trouble for the soft shell case out there. But is that a musicator or something? I mean, what the hell? Throwing all the guitars around like that.
Just a pain to unload all these guitars, I guess. But I mean, even when you have a hard case, to jar that around like that is crazy, dude.
Yeah, if that wasn't a blues band, they're singing the blues now.
So yes, they are.
Let me throw out a couple of quick, interesting headlines here. First of all, real quick, there's a weird spike in drones being spotted over military bases in America. One down south had multiple drones over several days, spanning multiple hours. Experts seem to think that they were not amateur drones. It wasn't someone in the neighborhood. They were trying to gauge what the military response would be. But they were also spotted over the base on the East Coast, where Hegseth and Rubio are living. So there's, concern that maybe somebody associated with Iran might be trying to do some sort of drone strikes on military bases, and potentially for Rubio and Hegseth's house. So I'm just pushing my glasses up here.
Sure.
Take not crossing my fingers. So we'll see what happens with that. And tell me what you think of this. Now, distraction, or is there major news coming out? 2 new otherworldly government-operated web domains just got registered this week. Alien.gov and aliens.gov were both registered by the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, part of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Tuesday of this week. Neither website is active, but they registered both domain names, aliens.gov. Epstein distraction? Or is there actually an announcement or something coming?
Listen, I will say that there's probably some sort of an announcement coming only because Trump has been flirting with this idea as an Epstein distraction. Will it have any grain of truth to it or seriousness? No. This is all Epstein distraction, dude.
Probably. So stay tuned for that. And then also it came out this week that Denmark had top secret plans to blow up their own runways in Greenland if they thought America was going to try to take the island. Top secret documents confirmed by media there in Denmark. They were going to send in their own troops and blow up their own runways in Greenland so that our troops cannot land there.
That's drastic, but I don't know. What else are you going to do, I guess, if you're Denmark? I don't know. Kind of smart.
Yeah, so that's fun. And then real quick, just to piss everyone off, ponder this over the weekend, the Trump gold coin was approved last night by the Federal Arts Commission, all of whom were appointed by Trump. So a 24-karat gold commemorative, coin embolized with President Trump, that picture where he's got his knuckles on the desk at the Oval Office and he's all hunched over trying to look all serious. And this goes against, it's an unprecedented step towards depicting a sitting president. Normally, you got to be dead before you can be on any United States currency. But again, the people that he appointed approved it. So talk about read the room, out of touch. There is going to be a Trump gold coin coming our way.
Is it commemorative or is it currency? Is this minted by the U.S. National Mint?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it will have a currency value, but I think it's commemorative for the 250th anniversary.
Yeah. Either way, I suppose. Yeah, it is unprecedented, but wow, crazy, dude.
Just again, him wanting to put his name on everything, his face on everything. So they broke the rules to put a sitting president on a gold coin to commemorate America's 250th anniversary. And we also learned this week that Trump is trying to get his birthday declared a federal holiday. So everyone would have Trump's birthday off. It would be a federal holiday, which, again, you don't do for living people.
If that happens, dude, here's my commitment to everybody watching. I will work fucking overtime on that day. I will not take that day off, dude.
Yes, exactly. So there's my rapid fire headlines. If you got anything else to throw out there.
No, I think we're good, dude. That's enough. Happy birthday to Barron. I think it is Barron Trump's birthday today.
I don't say that. Melania will come after you. She is mother hen to the 10th degree. Everything that comes out about Barron, she freaks the fuck out because, Barron is her son. He's not Donald's son.
Not Donald's son, though. Yeah.
But it is Melania's son, yes.
Will the real father of Barron Trump please stand up?
Yes, well, he's playing Eastern European basketball right now. So when he's done and retired, maybe he'll step up.
All right, dude, that's enough. It's enough already. Let's go. Okay.
All right, go to thevocalminority.net if you want to reach out and contact Nick and I directly. And like we said at the start, please, all the shows here on Really American, support all that. And go find the Vocal Minority, the audio version, wherever you get your podcasts, and hit subscribe there. We're trying to expand the reach here on YouTube and all the podcast platforms.
Appreciate it all. Thanks for joining the chat today. Have a good weekend. Until next time.
And that'll do it for another edition of The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Thanks for joining us on the Really American Media platform. Check out all our social media wherever good social media is found. Until next time, you tiny little bastards, good day.
Good day.